Welcome to episode 8 of Let's Have Words. We are back after a little hiatus. Had a little technical difficulty, which was not my fault this last time. I'm
Definitely
Jonathan.
my fault.
Yeah, it was definitely Booba's fault. I'm Jonathan Stone. This podcast is produced by Forerunner. If you have any questions about getting involved with this show or having content produced by Forerunner, contact us on Facebook or email us at info@forerunner.tv. What are you going to say?
None. You've had trouble talking this morning.
I have not. Also, we're recording bright and early today.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else you want to add there? You're staring at me.
Social media mongrel's my favorite.
Shut up, Swanson turns around from working just to chime in. This week's episode is once again brought to you by Duke Cannon. Duke Cannon is a purveyor of superior quality grooming goods built for the hardworking man. Duke Cannon products are made in the United States of America, and this company supports and benefits our veterans. Check out DukeCannon.com. Enter code BBLHW for 10% off your purchase. Also, quick reminder, please like, share, and comment. Subscribe on whatever platform it is that you are listening/watching on. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm not going to ask you to smash that like button. I'm going to ask you to gently take your mouse, hover above the like button, and gently press down on your mouse, like the content, and then I'm going to ask you to, once again, take your mouse over to the notification bell, and I want you to touch the notification bell very daintily. Once you do that, you'll be notified whenever our new content comes up, and we would love for you to please engage with other people that are in the comments. If you have any questions on there, contact us. We'll be happy to mix it up with people in the comments. Today's episode, the second recording, the second coming of Mr. Neal Clayton. Let's hop right into it. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
It's kind of weird because it's like we're recording a second episode, but for everybody else, it'll be the first episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because Booba, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So last time we just kind of talked about how you ventured off, did your own thing, dreams that you had growing up, and I think that's probably where I'd like to start back off this time is like how you got to where it is that you are now and where do you see yourself going? So kind of just give the people a background. You're from Bowling Green.
Sure. I claim Bowling Green. I'm born and raised in Madisonville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
I use the Hopkins County card when I need to excuse away my hillbilly nature. You know?
My God.
But all growing up, all my family's coal miners, and we did that. My dad was a fireman, became a fireman here in Bowling Green, set my trajectory that way here.
So for those of you that don't know, I'm a walking billboard for Neal right
great,
now.
Looking good.
Neal is the owner-operator of the Fireman Moving Company. So if you have bought or sold real estate in the last, how many years have you been in operation?
We claim 92, but we've really been powering house since about 5 years ago.
So about 5 years ago, if you've bought or sold, you've probably received at least a card. If not, you've had this guy and some of his crew help you out.
Here in town, for sure.
And it's not just here in town now.
Yeah. Now we've set up an office in Lebanon, Tennessee, and in Clearwater, Florida. And our recent changeover is from just being local in Bowling Green is we're trying to set up franchises. So we're switching our model. That's really my job now is to build the franchise model and try to sell this thing around the country. So we actually just got back. There's a firemen's conference called FDIC, and it's Mecca for firemen. All firemen from around the country, all at some point in their career would like to go there. They do training. It's mainly a shiny fire truck show. And so
That's cool.
We set up a come do hard work booth in a shiny fire truck show. So we learned a few psychology lessons being there, that's for sure.
I'd say so.
But it was a great time, and we're just really trying to launch this thing and put some horsepower behind it.
Where was this?
Indianapolis.
And this was pretty recently?
Yeah, by a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, we just got back.
Awesome.
It was a blast. Good time. Got to meet firemen from around the country, and really the whole point of what I'm doing here is I want to set a culture where when you're moving and anywhere in the country, you think of I should call the firemen to move me.
Right.
And kind of retrain that culture. But also, I was born and raised in the fireman culture, and I want to show that respect back to it, right? We're providing a second income for these guys to support their families, and also cultivating the brotherhood. When we have firemen from all around the country, like I just got back from our Clearwater office, went down there, kind of built the brotherhood, cultivated that with those guys. They've got a strong unit, a strong group of guys going down there, and it's just good for the common good, I think.
Yeah, I think in today's climate, I mean, I'm not trying to get political here or anything, but I can't think of a time in our lives where the firemen were looked as like the bad guys. You know what I mean? Like everybody loves a fireman.
We make the joke that people don't put their kids in the back of our trucks, and or they don't put their kids in the back of cop cars and take pictures, but they do in the fire truck. Like,
you
that's
see what I'm saying? And I'm not throwing a shot at cops or anything like that.
No.
You know, I'm big blue supporter. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
But what I am saying is that it would be easy for somebody moving to have that thought, I should call the fireman, because you immediately think, you know, the Dalmatian. You immediately think the nice fire truck. That's everybody's
there's
a fan.
Built-in trust. That's what, you know.
Exactly.
I got to see it. Like, you can say it as a marketing ploy, but also, like, I was there and I was raised around all firemen, and so, like, these guys are great. You know, the drug tested, background check, good culture, work hard, good work ethic, all in good shape. Like, every quality you'd want out of any employee for any business.
For sure.
And we got a whole bunch of them, and it's just great to be there.
The only thing like that wouldn't work would be like sumo wrestling.
You couldn't fit through the door to carry a couch through. So that's like really hard to do.
Exactly.
But
that's awesome. How many people you got employed? Let's go nationwide at this point.
Right now, over 125 total.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And Bowling Green's still the biggest.
It's our flagship, but I bet you it always will be. The culture here in town is, anybody here in town's moving, I guarantee is someone at their friends and families going, are those firemen moving you?
Yeah.
It's just like part of the local. Like, it's kind of like when you get trash, like there's really one trash company you call in town. Like, it's kind of that. We've built that enough here.
I thought you said when you get trashed. And I thought you were going to be, there's only one beer that can get that job done. It's Busch Light.
That's right.
But
actually, that soap does it to you. You don't even have to drink it. No, it's no shower beer anymore.
If you shower with the soap, you will get a contact buzz.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
Thanks, Duke Cannon. No free ads.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it'll always be our flagship here, but I like that. That's home to me. I want to support Bowling Green. I'm super proud of it, and especially for these guys that we're selling franchises to, I want to bring them to Bowling Green. I want them to show them what, if they're in a big city, like we got guys in Clearwater, in Tampa area running. If we can do it here in Bowling Green,
yes,
you can do it in Tampa, Florida, and it's a great sell that way.
You'd have to think that with and I guess I know because I'm in the business, but with real estate around here just booming, major cities are booming too. You know, if you are a major city in the United States right now, the likeliness is that real estate is doing very well.
Sure.
And so with real estate doing very well, you need people that can move your furniture, and you need people that can do it well.
Sure.
You need people that can do it quickly.
And you say that's our bigger sell, is we're trying to save you time. Now, is it expensive to hire movers? And sure, if you're looking at it on the dollar amount total, but the way we kind of sell it a lot and we feel passionate about is, you got movers. If you're trying to move yourself, you and your wife and your kids, you're going to move yourself, you got to still rent a truck. You still got to ask the Forerunner guys to quit their jobs for the day and come help you. You got to pay them pizza and beer. You're going to break something. Your wife's mad at you. It's 10:30 and the crib's not put together right because Booba's taking a nap because he's ate too much. And
that's right.
And so you're 10:30. Your wife's mad because it's not together. You broke stuff. You got to turn the truck in still. You're going to miss work. There's all these things. All right, add all those up, minus our total bill by that, then you're looking at that margin. If it's a couple $100, is it worth it? Absolutely.
For me, absolutely.
100%. Now, I've been there where I had to move myself a lot, and I'm fine to do it, but it definitely is a time saver. And where we could move your house and you could work. You could sell your real estate, work everywhere else you want to do a podcast. Your wife's home telling us where to move things. And
exactly.
You don't have to miss that money. So there's a time buy to it if you look at it that way.
Yeah. And you love doing it.
I do. I wish I could move more. My day is spent on the phone. I talk all day long. I love it. I've become good at it, but sometimes I just miss
mixing it up.
Just work. Just let me carry something and sweat.
Yeah. Yeah. And that comes from just background growing up. You had a father. I mean, your family. I know your family, and you've got a family unit that everybody has worked, everybody has pulled their weight, and you were no stranger to that growing up.
Absolutely. I did. I worked at Pizza Roma waiting tables. This was one of my first jobs. Before that, I did construction work, picking up nails and bottles and trash at construction sites. I did that to buy guitars.
And I think when we were growing up, it was kind of a time where, you know, if you wanted gas or insurance on your first car, you had to have a job.
You went and did it,
Yeah, you had to do it. Nowadays, it seems like, you know, I drive by some of these high schools and these kids got brand new Jeeps, brand new, you know, Forerunners and stuff like that. And I'm like, where's the POS cars that I was driving?
I know it. It's terrible.
Don't you think it's all relative, though?
I don't know. Do you?
Don't you think the kids after us will say the same thing?
Maybe.
Like,
I don't know.
I didn't know where you were going with. I didn't know if you're going with like
that's what I meant.
Like alternate universes. I didn't know how deep you were throwing this morning.
I know
just feel
when
like
my
every generation had it worse than the generation after them.
I don't know, man. I think if you look at the generation now, I think our generation growing up was it was much closer relative to our parents' generation, in that we would stay out late at night, you know, the street lights would come on, and that's when people went home. Nowadays, man, you're walking around a neighborhood at night, you got to have your damn wits about you.
Sure.
It's just,
or the golf carts will run over you. Everybody's got a golf cart running
and they're
around the
12 years old. That never happened in my generation, our generation.
But you can usually hear them T-Swift blaring coming down the road, coming at you. You got a chance to dodge it.
It's the evolution of teenage life.
Yeah. I mean, when we were growing up, though, we also had the TV shows where, like, all the high school kids were outside in the common area, like, shooting basketball. And it's like, where the hell was that happening?
I don't know.
That never happened. Like, imagine how we grew up in high school, because I don't know about their school, but me and you, it was not like One Tree Hill.
No.
It was not like, what's the other one? Dawson's Creek or anything like that. Man, Greenwood, I love the teachers that we had and all that.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear me say anything bad about that, but it was horrible.
It wasn't your typical cookie cutter TV show.
No, I think it was typical.
Yeah.
I think the TV shows embellish a whole lot and make it look better than it really is, which we all know TV shows and movies do that. But it wasn't normal, you know, to live that way, to have all the kids. It seemed like everybody was all happy-go-lucky shooting basketball before class. Dude, kids walked into school tired as hell.
You know what's an energy I haven't felt in years, though?
No.
Friday night football games.
Fight at 8 a.m. on a Thursday.
Oh, in the gym at the gathering for the Pledge of Allegiance, somebody
just walk in and
when your brother and I were in,
the energy's high.
I think your brother was there. It may have been my 7th grade year, but when we were at Drake's, these two girls went at it in like the morning meeting or something. Dude, I mean, they went flying down the bleachers, just going at, and it was before the time where cell phones. So like, you remember, like, if one fight broke out, somebody would chime in, and then another fight broke out. Nowadays, it's like one fight breaks out, and everybody just circles up and films it.
When's the last time you saw some people just fight in real life? Like, I saw several in high school and middle school. I don't think I've seen a fight since. Like
Hilligans.
I saw a lot on the road.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw one at Hilligans.
There was a lot of fights.
Hilligans was... It was somebody being drunk and stupid.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and I think that was the last time I saw a fight.
Can we take a side chain here?
Yeah.
All right. I think it should be legal for two consenting adults to beat each other up.
Absolutely. That's what the MMA is, baby.
And like nobody can press charges.
No. So like you offend me or I offend you or something, and then we literally just say,
yeah.
All right.
And
we're gonna
both
do
have
that?
to agree. It can't be a sucker punch.
Yeah.
It can't be. Both have to agree.
Absolutely.
But you can't get in a duel. So, let me say that.
I'm kind of okay with duels.
Well,
like if you want to be that bad.
If you're like when I got sworn in to be a firefighter, the swearing in, they ask you if you've ever been in a duel.
Like a gun duel?
It's in there. I wish I had it pulled up. I'd love to tell you. But
1776 called. They want their rules back.
It's something in there, and they say, "Do you promise to honor the Constitution? You promise to protect this, and this, and work for city, and all these things? And then have you ever been in a duel?" Like no, no. Who has?
Can't say that.
I can't name anybody.
Like a magic duel?
I can name 2 people, Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr, and 50% of those people died from the duel.
Sure.
So Those are the only two I know.
I wonder what they do if you said yes. Like you done all the training, you're ready to go, you're ready to get sworn in and go on duty, and then you're like, actually, 12 years ago, it's in a duel.
With
he
Lord
missed.
Voldemort.
Yeah, I bet they don't ask that question in California.
Sure.
It's probably only the southeastern
Kentucky,
Dueling
West Virginia.
Dueling
Yeah.
has been known to cause cancer in California.
Jesus. But no, all right, so let's piggyback off that thought then, Boo. But like, I agree. Like, if two consenting, I'm pretty much of this mind. If two consenting adults agree to anything, as long as it is not causing harm or infringing upon the rights of another, do it. Do it.
How do you know they consented? Like, what if I consent to Boob? I'm like, yeah, I consent. Let's fight. And he whips my butt, and then I'm like, I never consented to that. And do you have an app? Is there like a fight app?
It's like a Tinder for fighting.
Fight
You
app.
both swipe right
Like
if you want
we
to kick
bump
each other's
phones,
ass.
and that means like
Fight
our
app would be
phones
great.
bump, and we're good with it. And
Yeah. What
Or-
was that app? What was that app back in the day we thought was so cool where you touched your phones and it shared your contacts?
Wasn't it just called Bump? Or something like, I think it was just called Bump, and you both had to have it active, and you just did.
Can you imagine the energy shift though? Like, hey man, you ready? Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. That's,
let me text you. Text you this
All right, I hate you.
e-doc.
Yeah.
Read all the stipulations.
Can you DocuSign this for me, please, before I do this? But yeah, I, that's kind of where my brain's at. Two consenting adults agree to anything as long as it's not causing harm or infringing on a third party's rights.
Yes.
I say do it.
That's
I
great.
mean, why not?
yeah.
that's
The
what
world-
the
the world-
Constitution's for.
The world would be a better place if everybody would just. Who was it? I was watching a guy. He was talking about. He's like, liberty is not you taking care of me. Liberty is you taking care of you and allowing me to take care of me.
Oh, that's deep.
I need like a minute to think about that. Can we just have a silent moment?
There's
10
just-
seconds.
You have a lot of people on both sides of the aisle now that want to take care in air quotes of everybody.
Or the
They
other
want you,
side.
They want you to follow their way
Yeah.
or the highway. And like this guy's like, no, just let people do what they want. Just
What's the law of unintended consequences? A lot of people, you think you're doing something and it produces an alternative outcome. You think you're doing well and you hurt all kinds of other people.
anybody that's married should know that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I thought by me doing this you'd be happy. And she's like, no, that made me feel this way.
Yeah.
And you're
Sure.
like, oh,
I think another good example of law of unintended consequence, it's easy to draw that comparison to a Darth Vader. I mean, hear me out on this.
Sure.
Oh my
You
God,
think
you're
about
so
it.
weird.
No, think about it. The whole prophecy for Anakin Skywalker that he was going to bring balance to the Force never said how he was going to do it. It never said that he had to be a Jedi to do so. He was only going to bring balance to the Force. So in all of his quest to save his wife, he caused all that harm for everybody else, and yet he still had the kids. The love for his son is what brought him back, ended up destroying the Emperor, and he fulfilled his destiny. So it's like, just because it doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, it just matters that you get there in a lot of ways.
Sure.
I think there are ways you can do it poorly. Do you see what I'm saying?
I tell you, I've watched Star Wars. I know it's been on in the room with me.
Sure.
But I never thought any of that. I just thought it was a bunch of ships blowing each other up and Chewbacca, and that was it. My parents never let me watch movies. I just worked
Right.
my whole life.
Yeah.
At 6 out there laying sod and stuff.
I mean-
I heard that Anakin's starting a daycare as well because he loves children.
Oh my God. I mean, he wouldn't even get the joke.
No.
Your nerds will.
There's a joke on the internet that says, I have 3 chairs and there's 4 children. What do you do? And Anakin goes, kill one. It's so bad. But no, my point being, like you said, the law of unintended consequences just means that, you're supposed to get to a certain place,
Yeah.
but the route is going to be different for everybody how to get there.
Absolutely. And you asked me earlier kind of how I got to where I am, and I talk about this with a lot of people when we have business discussions, and I really feel like a lot of times in life when you don't know what you're going through until you turn around and look back down your path. It's kind of like when you're swimming. You don't know how far you swim till you come up for air. Those are moments in your life when you do it. And so for me, I waited tables, so I learned how to talk to people.
Yep.
I worked at UPS, so I learned logistics, trucking. I learned kind of my role. Like at UPS, you walk in, you're the grunt on day one. Like you're just unloading the hottest, sweatiest truck and slinging boxes, and eventually you work your way up. So you kind of learn that corporate America, you learn your place in the warehouse.
Very blue collar.
Earn it. Yeah, you earn every bit of it. Then became a fireman, loved every second of it. That was my destiny to be a fireman. You know, it's kind of in my I don't know, my path I was supposed to follow. And then now with the moving business, that puts all that together. So it's got the fireman deal, it's got the serving people, because being a fireman, you have to have a servant's heart to do it. And it's taught me all that. It's taught me corporate America with UPS, taught me how to talk to people with so all of that has come together to where I'm at. Now where I'm going from here, I'm going to shoot big, but I don't know. But that's the fun in it, right? Ride the wave, see where it takes you.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Where do you think it can take you?
Well, we want to have 100 franchises around the country at least. That's our first goal.
Okay.
We got to get one before we get 100, and we're about ready to sign our first one here in a couple months. They're all ready to rock, and so once you break that ice, we should launch the rocket.
It'll be a snowball.
Yeah, I hope so.
It will be, because those people will talk, and then those people's customers will talk, and then those people's customers' friends will talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And all
that's
this is
how
from
that
word
happens.
of mouth on the franchise side right now. We're about to launch a bunch of nationwide advertising and getting that rolling, so that should do it.
Yeah.
Hope you know a good company.
I can think of one good company to do that.
Absolutely.
Only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you.
Oh.
I didn't want there to be a competition, man. I'm talking you up here.
I say all this. That is my plan, unless someone asks me to come play guitar on the road with them, and then you can run the business, and I'll jump on the tour bus. Yeah, I saw your buddy at a Klein brother at a Fast Signs here in Bowling Green picking up something, and I send him a message about once a week, and I just ask if his guitar player is still feeling healthy. If he gets COVID, can I play? Like any of that stuff. Like I'm trying to weasel in there for a show.
You're ridiculous. Well, let's talk about that too, because before being a firefighter, before waiting tables and all that, you wanted to be.
I want to be a rock star, a rock and roller. I had a band called The Secret and tried to tour, nothing like what Booba did, and.
What the hell
incredible.
Are you doing?
Is that you?
That was I was in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I think that's behind the scenes. No, yeah, that was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Why is that up?
It's just a preview. Nobody can see it.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, please.
Don't pull that up. So you want to be a rock star.
Sure, and chase that dream and learned a bunch of skills. Learned playing a empty room night after night was very good for me. You know what I mean? There's nothing nothing builds more character.
Oh, it's so humbling.
I think we talked about it last time, but one of the good ones for us is we played with the band 1,000 Horses in St. Louis. They were called something else. I can't remember their name at the time, but we played with them and got in the van, partied all the way to St. Louis. Here we go. The promoter said, I get at least 500 people here a night on the weekends. We were so ready to do it. Show up, 0 people. Literally, we played to each other, and then we left. We played to them. They played to us. We got in the van and drove back.
That is wild.
Amazing.
We played in Mount Sterling, Kentucky, outside of Lexington for I wish I could think of the name of the festival. But it wasn't a festival. It was set up like one. They had the orange tents or the orange.
That was a state fair, dude.
It probably was. It was his biggest one. Giant stage, 2 stages. Giant stage, Videotron, the whole mess, everything you've ever done. Snappy Roots and 7 Mary 3. And then like several other local bands. And we played to no one. We played to the sound guy.
Nappy Roots didn't pull anybody in?
20 people when they played, they all showed up.
And then they left.
And that was it. But we rolled in and we pulled next to buses and big vans. And we thought, fellas, we've arrived.
Booba, where are you finding these pictures, dude? Stop. It's so ridiculous.
I missed it.
It was me at like the first prom I ever went to.
Shoot.
Have you ever heard of the first picture challenge, where like you find somebody's Facebook or Instagram and you go to the first recorded photo of them? Facebook's a good one.
I think my Instagram first picture I ever took was when I was working at Shogun.
That's fine.
And it wasn't even me. It was like a picture of the sushi bar. And I didn't even know how Instagram worked. And I just put sushi.
What's so funny is like now everybody's like a purveyor of social media. Like, you know what's good. Everybody. My first social media photo was of nachos.
That was sushi. Yeah.
For a fact. It was nachos.
Yeah.
And I put like the worst filter on it from Instagram.
Super grainy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's exactly what
It's real deep. You're trying to make a statement.
I really was. Who knew that?
Everybody's like a chip. It's a little different.
Who knew I'd become who I am today?
Me? I knew exactly who you're going to be.
Uh-huh.
You've been dogging me for 5-6 years now, man.
I've known you for like
It's longer than that.
9 years.
Yeah, it's much longer than that. So, all right, tell the story about when you were on MTV.
Oh yeah, my Super Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So trying to think of her name. I can't remember it, but
We had it.
into MTV. It was in Campbellsville, Kentucky, and I'm trying to think of the year.
Oh, yeah,
It's been a while back, but so MTV called us. We were still at Greenwood. We were seniors at Greenwood. Our star was rising at the end of high school, into college, and so they called us. We showed up, had a blast. With all the cameras were there. All the MTV crew was saying, "We're going to get you on this show and that show, and y'all are going to do it." And the premise of the show was she was going to have. She wanted The Secret to play, but her dad was going to get Billy Bob's cover band. And HIV and the Positives, or whatever their name was.
Oh my God, Neal!
playing Mustang Sally, and they were going to come out, and then she was going to go, "But Dad, I wanted The Secret," and then he was going to pull the curtain, and then The Secret was going to be there, and we were going to rock out for all the kids. That was the stuff. Well. So we go to Greenwood. They let us out of school for it. We get on the news. We go to WBCO and we say, "Watch it tonight. Here it comes." And Daily News did a story. BCO did a story. All this. They air MTV, and they did not put us in the show at all.
No.
At all. And so we ended up being on for about 5 seconds on the Where Are They Now? MTV, like 2 months later, did Where Are They Now?
Yeah.
But, what the even better story of it all is that her dad, I guess, was evading investors or taxes or something, and he put on this giant party and flew in a Beamer on a helicopter or something crazy and landed it, and then all his investor or tax people came after him because he said he didn't have any money, and he just spent a ton of money on MTV. So
of course he did.
It was great.
Gary Milby was his name.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was an oil investor. And or he was an oilman, and the investors found out everything that was going on. Is he in prison? I think he's in prison.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. We didn't want to know.
It's like tax evasion or something.
Yeah, we didn't want to
Who
know.
knows? This is probably slander at this point. I don't know what it was, but
yeah.
Oh,
No, he's good to us. Everybody was nice to us. We had a good time. We had a real good time.
He passed away.
Oh, I hate that for him.
Yeah, terrible, but. That's the story. I mean, that was the story. Like, y'all had this big thing planned, and then, quote unquote, pull back the curtain.
Sure.
There was nothing there.
I got a bunch of those stories where, we thought we were playing to big crowds and we didn't. And then we've got a lot of stories where we showed up doing our normal thing and played to hundreds of people having a blast. So I was telling this story once. There's a Hardensburg used to have the Breckenridge County Fair.
Yeah.
Behind the Hardee's. And so,
of course it was, though.
They had a stage set up there, but when we played, you would think Aerosmith was playing. Like, the whole town would come out to watch The Secret play. And there was a young mom who had brought her baby to the concert. Which,
oh, no.
At the time, I didn't have kids. I didn't have perspective. I was like, she's a cool mom bringing her baby. Now I've got 4 kids. Like, ain't no way am I bringing a baby to a local band rock concert. And she brought her kid up to the front of the stage and held the baby up like this so that the baby could hear
like
it.
Simba.
Yes.
But y'all were not playing The Circle of Life.
No, I think we were covering like Helter Skelter by the Beatles or something, and she's got this baby held up. I never felt more uncomfortable. I wanted to stop, like put some earplugs on.
Yeah, hey, ma'am, take your baby home. You know where you said all the people in Hardensburg went to the concert, right?
Yes, I think the whole town.
That was after they all went to that Hardee's too.
Yeah, it was in the Hardee's parking lot. Was the Breckenridge County Fair? Which
that's
is perfect,
freaking hilarious.
Which is Hopkins County. Like I don't tease them because that's like where I was raised.
Right. When you pull out that card,
there literally was a drive-through meth lab at on my grandparents.
No, there wasn't.
Across the street from them.
No, there wasn't.
I swear, there's a family there, and
Best customer service in the
I won't pull it up on here, but they built in the external garage, and everyone knew it was a meth lab in it because you could pull their police record, and like everybody from the dad to the 6-year-old son had meth charges. But they put a drive-in window that you'd see people drive up and the window open, do their thing, and run off.
Imagine if Walter White had that in Breaking Bad.
I loved Breaking Bad. Y'all watch Breaking Bad?
I was talking about it yesterday.
Big fan.
When my second kid was born, my daughter Kennedy, when she was born, during my stay-at-home time with them, I watched Breaking Bad start to finish, just through that.
Who's your favorite character on that show?
Oh, Walter White probably just because he's so interesting. But there was a bunch of them.
Do you agree with Walter White's choices for the most part?
I could totally see where it went. Like it's almost like How You Boil a Frog, right? Like you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's like he didn't realize how bad he was getting until he was bad, and then it was too late, and you have to kind of deal with what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He had to support himself and his family, and that's what he knew how to do. And
he did everything to help them, but he didn't necessarily do it the right way.
Absolutely.
And then he got to a point where he could not stop doing that was the only way he knew how to do.
Yeah.
But we talk about, what's his name? Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
He was on that. He was on Breaking Bad.
He was the student, right?
Todd.
Which one is he?
Oh, you're talking about Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah, you were actually saying the character's name.
I was saying the actor's name, Jesse Plemons, right?
Who was Todd?
He's the one. Remember when they're hijacking the train and the little kid on the dirt bike sees and he shoots him?
Yeah,
that's Todd.
We always talk about how well that actor plays literally any role that he's given, because he's like the sweet little Christian rock band singer on Friday Night Lights.
Yeah,
he's just a fantastic actor.
Or Saul. Saul always annoyed me. I couldn't hardly watch him. Yeah. I couldn't watch him. Like, I get annoyed by characters. I know it's a show, but like it almost a lot of those people mimic real life, and I know one very good that is really fitting to Saul, and it just annoys me to death.
When a character gets on your nerves or makes you angry, that's good writing.
Oh, absolutely.
If it's intended, like Skylar got on my nerves, and it wasn't good writing. The actress was not very good, and it was not a well written character. I don't think she was horrible. Nobody likes Skylar.
Nobody likes Skylar, but I don't think it's because it's bad writing.
Do you think that was the intention for how she was supposed to be written?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
All right.
You take all those other characters, and they're all so well thought out and so well planned and executed, and then you got Skylar, who just comes off as nagging all the time. Even if she's being positive, it comes off as nagging.
You're a housewife whose...
No, I'm not.
Whose husband is a science teacher and finds out he has cancer. And his friends offer to pay for his treatment, but his pride won't let him.
Sure.
So he turns to the most reasonable thing he can do, which is make methamphetamine. Then that man endangers your family, kills someone in your basement.
But she didn't even know all of that.
I know, but
she was horrible before that.
People in relationships they just know when things are going bad.
I don't know. I just didn't like her.
Yeah.
I didn't like her.
She's kind of like Lori from The Walking Dead. The one scene where there's a car accident in The Walking Dead, there's nobody else on the road and she wrecks. Like, what the hell are we doing here? Sure. It's horrible writing. Horrible.
Let's see. I think it was kind of hard. So, what was it? There were 6 seasons. Season 4 and 5 with Gus.
That was the best part.
Honestly, the white supremacist, redneck brothers that ended the season, I didn't think they were as good as Gus. Gus should have been the final boss.
Gus, if it was like a video game, Gus was like the head honcho or whatever. He was so well written.
I wish I could remember it that well as you guys. I watched every one of them. I just don't. It doesn't sink in for some reason. Like you were talking Star Wars, I probably just so. Watching the shiny lights and the ships blow up. I didn't realize that they were telling a story. It's probably like this one too. I was just watching the gunshots and the methamphetamine move around. I thought it was neat looking.
I was like, man, I like that math.
Looks like it smells good.
Why is it so pretty and blue?
I've never done cocaine. I've smelled it before.
Yeah, exactly. No, Breaking Bad was such a.
Isn't that what Eric Clapton said? He doesn't like cocaine. He likes the way it smells.
Yes.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Bill Clinton didn't inhale either.
Yeah, sure.
Well, that's neither here nor there. We don't need to talk about. I don't think we need to talk about the Clintons, guys.
I think this is a good segue. Do you think every movie and show has to have a theme, or can it just be?
I'm sure there's a professor at some college somewhere, or every college everywhere, that says yes and has a good answer. I just want to watch something that's entertaining, and if I get something out of it, great.
For you, Neal, it could be even music. Does every song have to have a meaning?
to me, none of them have a meaning at all. I listen to music my entire life. That's my passion, and I couldn't tell you the lyrics to songs I wrote. Really, it's like the running joke. Like I'll send songs back and forth with friends, and they'll say, "Didn't that speak to you or whatever?" I'm like, "What? I have no idea. I just know that like the guitar sounded great." Like,
okay,
I don't care what it is.
Let's ask this another way.
That riff I hit in the breakdown.
That's all I listen to is the groove and the way it all mashes together.
Let's ask this another way.
Yep.
Let's take music out of it, because I think there is a point to be made. Like instrumental music, while there are themes and moments and stuff that can be very moving or whatever, instrumental music doesn't have words to tell you what the writer was saying. So let's take music out of it. If you're looking at TV and film and all that, does there need to be an underlying theme as part of the story, or could it just be nonsense and be good? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, like this is the whole like Zack Snyder universe thing. Like
exactly.
It's not the greatest story, but it just looks beautiful.
See, I don't agree with that. I think what makes TV and film so important is the storytelling. I think that there have been great stories told in not so fantastically filmed ways. Yes or no?
So I have a question.
Okay.
Why does a film need to be good, and what does that mean?
Well, a film doesn't need to be good. But
if you're making a value judgment about a film, you have to have some sort of compass of what is good.
So for me, what makes a good film is it's such a broad topic. It depends on what it is that I'm watching, what I want to watch. But in order for it to be good, we come back to this all the time. The writing has to be good. The language use has to be good. It doesn't necessarily have to be filmed on the best camera with the best special effects. That does not make a
Blair
film.
Witch. That was like, wasn't that top 10 at the Globe Film Festival or something? Blair Witch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
whatever. I didn't know. Is that a film festival?
That was not only that.
Globe.
But if you look at that
thing,
as a businessman, Neal, look at that as they used $6,000
as their entire budget.
Did they? I don't know.
And they made $83 million.
Good for them.
You talk about return on investment.
I don't think I ever watched. I was too scared. I think it came out when I was still able to be scared.
That was filmed in Kentucky too.
Was it really? Where at?
Northeast. In the hills.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, somebody probably running through and got a fish hook on the eye.
They went camping and they were like trying to summons the witch and whatever, and it came out.
I don't think they tried to summon her in the original Blair Witch Project. I think they.
I was way off. Keep going.
I think what they were
248 million. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
That's a decent return on investment, I think.
Yeah.
$8,000. Is that what you said?
I think it was $6,000 was their budget.
Better. Good deal. Good for them.
Swanson's on it.
So you guys do that. Let's say this. Let's say you guys make a film for somebody and you're guaranteed for the royalties and whatever, and you guys, it costs $8,000 for y'all and all whatever. You're in that same budget and you guys make $250 million. Y'all still do Forerunner on today's, what is today? Today's Tuesday?
Yeah.
Do you have Forerunner Wednesday? You just made a $250 million check?
Yeah, you know why? This is a very easy question because look at the content they produced without that money.
Sure.
Now they've got the money, and it only goes up from there.
Yeah.
That's why I think this question is super important, because Booba's literally saying, what makes it good? Does the budget have to be huge to be good? I don't think the answer is yes. Look at how good those old Godzilla movies were. Sure. It sparked a whole genre of films in the monster universe. Look at the original Spider-Mans that came out, like Tobey Maguire and all that. They did not have nearly the technology that we're seeing with the new Tom Holland Spider-Man. But Tobey Maguire Spider-Man not existing, we would have never had what we have now.
Sure.
Jurassic Park.
To answer your question, though, if I made $250 million today,
yeah,
I'd still be here tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I would just have a home gym.
Would you buy a new home?
We'd have a bigger studio.
Mm-hmm. We'd have a bigger studio.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's part of having a small studio that like drives you to get a bigger studio. You know what I mean? Like,
like the forced growth.
There's some of that. Like I try to always keep that carrot dangling in front of me as we keep growing. Like, what we're doing now in my office and where it's located is the best place in town. I promise you're not going to find a cooler spot. But I always want to keep a touch uncomfortable. Like you always hear that growth happens in discomfort, and that just means staying busy, like just all the time. And that's like we talk about being a fireman. I left the fire department in March to pursue the business, and it was a hard decision to do.
Yeah.
I don't regret a second I was a fireman. I miss it still, but I know that this is the right path I'm on. But what I was used to is working from behind. I'd work 120 days or so as a fireman, and I was still doing the same amount of workload and trying to fit that into those days and have weekends and be a dad and a husband and go to Christmas. All these things, I liked that. I liked that pressure of making it work. Now, the time's on me, so now this pressure switched from the lack of time to now it's on my responsibility to make sure I manage my time well. And so I had to do that whole thing. It's hard to do, and I think you had the same thing, Swanson. And
do you think you're good? I think everybody here has made that adjustment too, of being quote
I'm
unquote
making it. There's times where I'm real good at it, and times where I realize I'm bad at it, and then that makes me feel guilty and get better at it. It's a constant cycle, but that's life, and that's growing and all that.
I got real annoyed with my family the other day, and they're gonna watch this. But no, it comes from a good place. Like my schedule is so crazy hectic right now, and my brother is moving to Colorado.
Okay,
and I hate it because he's my little baby brother. He lives in Nashville now, but he's never been further away from an hour from me. Now he's moving halfway across the United States.
That gives you an excuse to go to Colorado, which is cool.
But my point is, he was making plans to come up and see my granddad and see the family or whatever, and I couldn't accommodate it for everything else I had going on. And it pissed me off because I'm like, man, I want to be a part of it too. I want to see everybody. I want to see you, and I want to spend time with you and all that. And so then it kind of just clicked for me, and I was like, then make the time, Jonathan. Like, find a way. You are in charge.
Yeah.
Find a way and make the time. And so that's what Jennifer and I have decided to do, is we're going to make the time. We're going to make the effort because we're only guaranteed now a very short time.
Yeah.
That he's going to be right here.
You can make time. It's kind of like when you were doing that 75 hard, you like, it's hard to get 2 45-minute workouts in a day, but you can do it. But something else has got to. You may, like, you're sitting around scrolling on Instagram, time might have to sacrifice, but you can do it, which is part of the whole program. You'll never see me do 75 hard, but I think it's cool that you tried it.
I think so. I'm reading a book on willpower right now, and I'm always reading some self-help book. One of the things that it talks about that people hate doing is tracking. So tracking where you are, what you've done, it's the most prevalent way to see results. So they did experiments where apparently if you have a mirror in a room, people automatically become more self-conscious when they see themselves in a mirror. So
like a gym, that's why there's mirrors in gyms.
Yeah, you're more accountable. So they did a thing where in a random town, they did a house and it had rooms in it, and one room had a bowl of candy and no mirror, and it said, please take one only. And they filmed kids when they went in to get it, and the kids took handfuls.
Of course, absolutely.
Good kids.
The other room,
depends on the candy. But.
The other room had
dots.
A bowl of candy and said, please take one, and had a giant mirror behind the bowl. And more times than not, kids took one piece of candy because they could see themselves.
Sure, it sets that accountability. You're watching yourself. Yeah.
And so what they were getting at is tracking is the only way to see yourself progress. So if you're trying to lose weight, tracking your calories. I hate doing it.
It's the worst.
But it's the only way to see if you're making results. So the same way with your time. A lot of big CEOs recommend doing a time audit where literally you don't think you're spending 2.5 hours on Instagram, but every 5 minutes you look for 2 minutes.
Sure, stacking up 2 minutes, you're going to hit a couple hours.
I set a limit on my phone to shut off social media after an hour, and I usually hit it by like 10 in the morning.
Yep.
Like, you're like, oh, I didn't
The problem is they offer you, do you want to ignore this alert for the day? Do you want to ignore it for 15 minutes? And then I found myself like, yeah, just ignore it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm reading something cool. you might as well just delete it at that point.
And so social media is very powerful and can enrich your life, and it can also ruin your life and be poisonous. There's two ways you can, like I always say the saying, the world is big and the world is small, because sometimes we'll be in the airport in Houston, Texas with my moving company shirt, and I'll run into someone that says, hey man, you guys moved my aunt, and we get to talking to them. I know their aunt. We moved them around there. I can tell them what color the couch was, and it's just kind of funny how that happens. You're all the way across the country and you run into a stranger that you know. But also the world is big, and you can connect and learn all these things through social media. And that's how I go to sleep at night. I'll put on something that I don't know anything about, and my mind just realizes that I'm dumb and can't try to keep up until it shuts off. I'll learn about how to fly a jet airplane, or how to
but at least you're learning.
Yes, maybe it's probably sinking in somewhere. I like to watch car reviews on cars I don't know anything about, and then just he'll talk about certain horsepower.
All Swanson does is watch reviews of the Bronco, the new Bronco.
I watched one last night. I watched Doug DeMuro. You ever watch his? Yeah, that was a good one, wasn't it? Yeah, I watched that one last night.
Do you want the new Bronco?
All I know is that
you do? The sport or the full size?
Full size,
yeah.
4-door.
Dude, it is sharp.
Swanson, me, and Julie all have access to our 4Runner Instagram, and I got on there the other day, and the Explore page is all SUVs and Broncos.
My favorite thing.
Somebody's been looking at stuff on the Explore page.
I think my favorite part about the 4Runner Instagram is the nonsense. Yeah. Like they'll just film Booba being silly, like behind a post or something, and I love it because they're, like you said, it can be enriching in showing fun behind the scenes for a company. Everybody thinks running a company is this big stressor and all that, and it is. Don't get me wrong, it is. But at the same time, it's what you make of it. And if you want to be positive and you want to have a good outlook and you want people to see fun, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Then it becomes enriching for the other people.
Yeah.
So
I know for me. So if you guys know anything about Enneagram, I've delved deep into Enneagram.
Same here.
Enneagram?
Yeah, it's a personality test.
Yeah.
You get a number and some
so
wings.
What do you, Neal?
Yeah. I am a 7, hardline 7. I'm all gray. I think I have some 2.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would I be? I don't know anything about this. So judge me.
You need to take the test, and they'll actually have some. You'll have some surprises in there. You'll think some things, and it'll tell you some different. But when you read them, you'll realize how true it is. A lot of like I'm a 7. Like a 1. My wife Kara is a 1. A 1 is
perfectionist.
Really, it's a fault and a blessing being a 1. Same. Every one of them probably is a fault and a blessing.
All of them have a healthy state and an unhealthy state.
Sure. So like a 1's healthy state, a 1 is a perfectionist essentially, and when they're healthy, they really do a good job and get things done the right way.
Like a Kobe Bryant basketball version of Kobe Bryant would be like a 1.
He may be an 8. I think like 8's the challenger. Like you ain't. He will go at you for the sport of going at you.
I see what you're saying.
But like a 1, when they're wrong, a 1 will be unhealthy when they're such a perfectionist. They literally can't just load the dishwasher quickly and hit the enter because it has to be loaded right. So everything else in the world stops to take extra marginal time to like do this one minuscule task correctly. So there's balance. Like
neat.
For me, like looking at me, a 7 is a big dreamer and shoots really big and thinks, and always the optimist and always that. But where I fail as a 7 is I don't get things done, like the little tasks. Like I might say we're gonna go do this big old thing, but I can't. It's tiny little steps are just kind of sloppily done.
It's funny because like a 1 is a trees person. And a 7's a forest person. They say you can't see the forest for the trees. And
that's neat.
A 7's like covers the entire forest.
Yeah.
7's want to experience everything. They want to take every trip. They want to have. Dude,
that's like right. That is you.
Yeah, sure.
It really is.
I'm a 3.
Okay, so what's a 3?
A 3 is the achiever. I constantly work on myself and on projects.
And you're always reading to better yourself. You're always learning. You're always creating, and then I'm just guessing here, your fault is that you probably hold yourself a little too accountable in a lot of ways. Like you don't cut yourself enough slack.
3s have never achieved a level of perfection that they set for themselves.
Okay.
And
yeah.
3s
never reach the ceiling.
Threes gain their identity from what they do.
So even when you reach your goal, you're like, still wasn't good enough.
Yeah, literally, we released a project the other day, and everybody's posting about it. And I told Swanson, I was like, "Man, we could have done better." And he just
that
like,
is you, man. That really is you, because even the film that we did, all three of us, and you've constantly said over the years, like, "Yeah, I would have changed so many things about that." But dude, it was good. It was a good damn job.
But you guys, you need people in different Enneagrams, different styles in your corner and in your circle, because if everyone was a 7, we all have great ideas in here, but nothing would ever get done. Ever get done. Yeah. And
I wonder what I would be. I'm going to take this test, and I'm going to text you.
Interesting.
I'm going to text you.
Threes get it done, and then you can have wings. So 4 is the creative. 4s are the most in touch with their feelings. 4s are the kind of person where it rains on a Tuesday, and they write a beautiful song.
Mm-hmm.
But that might be me.
But they also are very impassioned, and a unhealthy 4 loses their cool all the time.
Super introverted. Man, a lot of times they say the 4 is the least, like statistically, the least number of all of them.
That's 5.
And it's 5s. Okay.
5s, yeah.
What is that? Because they're so introverted that they won't take a test in the first place.
Well, 5s. The characteristics of a 5 is just, it really is a unicorn. 5s are they basically, like, all they need is their immediate, like, what's immediately around them, their home, their family. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need
me.
No, you're definitely not a 5. You're definitely.
I don't know, man. The older I've gotten, the more I crave that, though.
There are changes. Like, you can be an extrovert and over time realize, I just want to spend more time with
I think that's
family.
where I'm kind of getting in my life, is like everything kind of being put into perspective. Like, man, you got a year and 9-month-old baby. Like, I want to soak up every second with her. Like, the other night, I got home late from work, and Jennifer had to put her to bed. And I called her. I was like, keep her up if you can, please. I'm on my way. I just got to stop and get some food. I'm starving. By the time I got home, she was asleep. And I was like heartbroken. And Jennifer was like, just let her sleep, let her sleep. And I said, I immediately just go, can I be the one to wake her up in the morning? Yeah. Like, I wanted to be the first person she saw the next morning. Yeah, sure. Because I just missed her so much. I hear you. And that's, I think as I've gotten older, that's just kind of where my head's at, where my heart is at, really, more than anything. But no, I'm probably not that character.
Well, and the good thing about Enneagram, I probably sound like a college girl right now because they love Enneagram.
I do. I meet up with it, so
I can't say anything.
I'm glad you like it, because I looked into it a lot too.
Well, like, so me and Ashton have. Threes are very difficult. Threes are very difficult because we set unachievable standards. Our identity's completely set up in it, and threes are the most emotionally inept people. Like, we have the least connection with our emotions because threes are typically politicians and also psychopaths or sociopaths. Threes
it sounds just like him.
Threes can read situations super fast and then mold their personality to be successful in any situation.
Mm-hmm. You are good at that. Not in a bad way, but you're good at reading the room.
So, like,
you are.
Threes can do that. And so what we do is threes have always molded our personalities around the people around us that we don't have any idea what our true feelings or
that makes a lot of sense.
And my wife is a 2, which is the caregiver. You know, she's
2s will. My daughter Kennedy is a 2. She's never taken the test, but I promise you, she's a 2. The 2s will put everyone else in the world in front of themselves.
Yes,
and it's that, which is a beautiful quality to have. They want to take care of everyone. And my mom's a 2. Yeah. But the con to that is they'll take care of everyone else and not take care of themselves, and then they'll overload themselves and implode.
Yeah. So my dad's children's therapist, and growing up, he taught me this very good lesson at a young age. You can take care of other people all you want, but you have to take care of yourself. And I was in a devastating car accident, and I knew that if I could take care of myself, I could help everybody else.
Others. Correct.
And literally was able to get my seatbelt off, went through a window, came back in, and was able to help people get out of the car.
Wow. Yeah.
And so, like, that just stuck in my mind. Like, take care of yourself, then we help other people.
Sure.
Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're useless to other people in a lot of ways.
Yeah, sure.
But like you said, being the caregiver can't be that bad. I mean, Ashton's a wonderful person.
Oh, yeah. And what knowing the Enneagram has, so, like, I go to counseling. I've done a lot of stuff with mental health just because I've wanted to know more about myself. Enneagram is honestly like when Ashton, she does all this research now. She reads the books, and I've never felt more seen in my life.
Sure.
She'll read a
neat.
section in a book about a 3, and it's everything that I do on a daily basis.
So I'll pause you here, and I am so with you on it. Like when I discovered it, like it makes so much sense in my world. But there's a preacher in Bowling Green. I think he preaches at the church where the bowling alley is on Scotts Road. There's one church next door.
Real life.
Okay, real life. I moved the guy, very sound guy. I think his name's Brandon. I'm gonna butcher it. If he's watching, sorry, bro. I can't remember, but I know I watch your videos. But he has some TikTok videos and stuff that he talks. People send him in a faith question, like why is this valid and this not? He'll spend time and talk to. It's really interesting for me to listen to. But one thing he talks about is the Enneagram, and I didn't know it, and I need to fact check on him. But he talks about how it came about. Like the guy that created it, the Enneagram system, did like spirit writing, which we would all say is hocus pocus, right? If I know,
Great movie.
like where he would hold a pen on a piece of paper, close his eyes, summon the spirits in his world, and they would write with his hand the Enneagram system. That's
I'm gonna have to keep my mouth shut.
look it up and fact check me, but I remember from his video this was on there, and I'm sure I'm butchering it. Sorry again, Brandon, but if that's your name, but but it's super interesting because we would all say that it's true, the system, looking at it, but like we'd also say that we think it's hocus pocus, like the spirit summoning and moving your hand to write something. That sounds crazy.
If you didn't know the system first, and you knew how he got it, if that's
you
true,
would immediately turn it off.
You would immediately disregard it.
But it's so interesting when you get to, and then also like my mom manages people at her job, and I've told her that all her crew needs to take it because it's a certain way you need to talk to people. Like he talks about 2s, like you don't criticize a 2. You don't, like, you butter them up. Like, man, you did a great job on this podcast. I love the way you have your mics in. But the way you talked about that soap, I wouldn't have done it like that. Like then you're so full of joy because I've complimented you that you can do it. But other people, if you do that on other numbers, they'll just see right through it and not listen to you in the first place.
I remember growing up playing sports. I always really, really liked the coach, and even when I was acting, I liked Vicky Schmidt and Debbie Belcher because they were my directors.
Debbie wrote me up a bunch, but she's a sweetheart.
I love Debbie. I'm gonna tag you in this, Debs. But look how far we've come.
I was late to her class a bunch, but she had guitar class, and I don't think she could play guitar, but she was a guitar teacher, so I ended up teaching the guitar.
She can strum through guitar. She plays piano. Both of them were so constructive with me because I can't read music, but I gravitate towards music. Like I can hear it and I can replicate it and sing it. But they were both great with me because they would tell me when something was either wrong or that I was screwing up. And I loved knowing that because it was like, okay, now I know what to do.
Sure, and they're being honest with you and you can fix it.
And I appreciated the honesty, and I still do to this day. It's like, okay, now I know how to fix that.
Yeah.
So that is super interesting, and I'm definitely going to look at it. I'm going to take the test today, probably email you or text you.
It just helps you understand more about yourself.
How many syllables was understand when you just said that?
It helps you understand.
You said understand.
It just, and as a believer in Christianity and faith, like you can use things like Enneagram to help guide your perceptions of who you are.
For sure. Take faith out of it too. It's just as a human.
What I'm saying is some people think that you can't do those things.
Sure, they don't coincide, but
because it was developed from like Eastern teachings. Like Enneagram is not a modern Christian thing. It's a principle of. I'm just saying some people don't take it.
No, I understand what you're saying. It's just frustrating because you're smart. I'm somewhat smart, kind of an idiot. Everything stems from Eastern teachings. Like our world is the new world. You know what I mean? Like,
but you get what I'm saying. Some people are leery to it, but like you can use anything as kind of it doesn't have to tell you exactly who you are. It can just kind of let you know.
For sure.
Yeah. But you define who you are.
And if it's not hurting anybody or anything, what's the problem?
I just know that since Ashton started reading a bunch, our relationship has grown because I know how there's literally sections that says if you're a 3, this is how you should act with a 2. If you're a 2, this is how you should act.
What is the actual book that y'all have read?
I don't know. There's all kinds. Just Google it. There's a million.
I'll send you the link to the actual test.
Okay.
And
we should do that live on here. Let me take the test live.
It'd take you a while to do it. You could be taking it while we're doing
14 pages long.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But here's the thing with the test. Don't answer based on what you think you are. Answer.
Well, I don't know what the hell I am.
Well, it's like, so threes, we're not the most caring about others because we're always focused on success. So when a question comes up, it's like, would you take time to help someone else? You have to like, obviously I want to be like, yes, immediately, but would I?
Depends.
You know, so like I have to answer that honestly and have to say sometimes. And
yes.
so like, but most people want to portray the best picture of themselves, even when they're answering questions that no one sees but an algorithm.
What is the most common number?
9.
And what is a 9? Is it 1 through 10 or 1 through 9?
1 through 9.
Okay, so what is a 9?
9's a peacemaker.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I've heard of that one.
They have a little bit of all of them.
Yeah.
And that's why they're so good at, I think 9's the most common. Let me look it up.
What it's done for me is help me personally realize where I'm lacking on and go headfirst into it. Like 7s a lot of times run from their problems. If they have a problem, they're scared of it and run and ignore it.
So now you make the mental note.
Absolutely. Someone calls and says, "Hey man, I need to talk about something." They get a call right away. Like I won't wait 5 seconds. They're on the phone. We're going to talk about this. When can we meet up? Let's get going. Because it's my tendency, according to this program, to run away from those hard calls and all that.
What's the book? Eat That Frog. Have you read that?
No, I haven't.
It's about getting the hard things out of the way first.
Okay.
If you know tomorrow.
Oh sure, do it first thing in the morning. I've always heard that.
Like I guess the premise is if you knew tomorrow at some point you were going to have to eat a frog.
Yeah.
You can't think of anything much worse than eating a frog. Wouldn't you rather, instead of dwelling on it all day, just get it over with and be done?
That makes a lot of sense.
So that's kind of what you're saying. You're attacking it head first.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's awesome, man.
According to this, the rarest are type 8, which is the challenger, then the investigator, which is type 5, and then the helper, type 2. The most common is peacemaker, type 9.
So 8 being the challenger, you said that would be more like probably like a dead to rights athlete.
That or probably like a military type. That's they just go right at you.
Have you ever met someone that not loved, but they kind of thrived on correcting others?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's an 8.
Yeah.
When you tell a story, they're always got a better story, no matter what it is. Or if you said I just ran a mile today, they say, "Well, man, one time I ran a mile at 4 minutes." Or they have to just interject their betterness all the time on everything. They eat faster than you. Everything in the world, they just beat you.
They're the type of people that's like, we need to talk. And they love to have truth talks with you and tell you how they feel.
You know what my favorite thing is that people do? And I don't know if this is an 8 or not. But when they make like some big social media post, like, don't really ask me what's going on, but I'm just going through it.
Why I say that? I don't like that either.
Or call me, we need to talk. Like,
sure.
Like, oh Jesus,
that'll stress me out
until
I get on the phone.
Talk about eating the frog. I'm never eating that frog. I'm never gonna attack that head first. Because it's silly.
Yeah. I saw a post the other day that said, whenever someone texts me, "Hey, when you get a chance, call me. We need to talk," I like to write back, "We sure do."
Oh, that's great.
Well, you talked about books you're reading. What are y'all reading right now?
He's got me turned on to, and I just bought it, Green Lights.
Yeah, I think that was.
I think we talked about it last
Green Light.
Yeah, it's really
So
it's the best audiobook.
I got the hard copy because I'm afraid that if I do the audiobook, I'll have a tendency. I'll pick up my phone and scroll or something like that. So I got the hard copy.
Listen to it while you drive. It's that kind of book. It's not. You don't have to pay close attention.
Okay. Well, I mean, I got a hard copy.
Yeah. Well, now you should get the audiobook.
Yeah, I like the audio version just because I like his voice.
Does he read it?
He does. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And he adds stuff in, and
yeah, it's good.
Well, now I might just have to do that. What are you reading right now, other than?
Right now, I am reading a book called Willpower, which is about increasing willpower and the ability to define task. What else am I reading? I'm reading like 3 books.
I can't see. I'm done with you.
I'm reading a sci-fi novel, and I'm reading.
You want some Star Wars book?
You bounce around books I tend to do it too. Like I got this book I'm reading called Start, Punch Fear in the Face, Escape Average, and Do Work That Matters. It's, I guess, one of Dave Ramsey's sponsoring not artists, but authors. But I bounce between that and a book called Think and Grow Rich, which I've read it cover to cover 3 or 4 times. But every now and then I just pick a random chapter and listen again.
When I finally started reading like financial books is when my financial life took a turn. Like, I remember reading Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh man,
yeah.
And then
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, and then Millionaire Next Door.
Okay, yep, that's a great one too. I share that book to a lot of people.
It's basic, and once you've read like 5 of them, they literally just repeat each other after that. But like,
Think and Grow Rich is a little different. Like there's
Rich Dad Poor Dad's pretty different too.
Mm-hmm. There's some crazy chapters in Think and Grow Rich, but it's fairly true, most of it.
I read one. It was How Will Make You Rich or something like that, and it was I liked that guy's principle because there's different financial principles. There's like Dave Ramsey's principle, which is never use a credit card,
live conservative, save your money, and when you're 75 and a half years old, you'll have to have enough money that you can go to Starbucks.
See, that's what I don't like
and
about Dave Ramsey, and I'm probably going to get flack for that, but dude, you live a life that literally nobody else can live today. Because if you don't have credit, you're not buying a house. If you don't have credit, you're not buying a car. Guess what you're not having if you don't have a car? A job.
His principles are good for certain people. There are people that have to have structure and guidelines and have to. Otherwise, they're gonna there's a saying: give a chainsaw to a lumberjack, he destroys the forest. Give a chain to a child. That's a really big issue, right? There's that kind of thing. It's the same thing with finances. So people in my family, you give them all the money in the world, like it's gone in a heartbeat, and they're all disappear. But then others, you can take a little and grow it into something else. So it's just a tool. It depends on what you want. Like Kiyosaki loves debt, right? He said there's good debt and bad debt. Mm-hmm. Bad debt is on big TVs. Good debt is big TVs because that's what you do. But me at my house, is bad debt is big TVs and boats and stuff. But good debt is rental property, other things. Investing in my business, that's great debt. Moving trucks, go for it.
Any kind of like liquidable asset that you can move. Debt.
What about you, Swanson? You reading anything?
Swanson's reading.
It's a good book.
Bible.
Yeah.
Mere Christianity is one that I've really dug.
Mere, M-E-R-E?
C.S. Lewis.
Oh, okay.
If you're ready, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I love Mere Christianity, but it's a lot.
I'm not a big.
It's a lot.
I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this. I'm not a big C.S. Lewis fan.
Is it like reading a Jordan Peterson book? Like there's so many words in that book. I read the 12 Rules to Life, and
imagine Jordan Peterson writing in the early 1900s.
Imagine
C.S. Lewis was buddies with
Jordan Peterson, but Christianity based.
Okay,
it's the
sure.
Same type of structure.
So C.S. Lewis was big buddies with Tolkien, who wrote The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. And a lot of what Tolkien was writing, he took and put into the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe series and all that kind of fun stuff. But he's about as wordy as Tolkien. But Tolkien created a language.
You don't like C.S. Lewis's fictional work.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm not talking about fiction.
Yes, but that's how he writes.
Tolkien actually got mad at him because he said his allegory was too plain.
And because he ripped off a lot of Tolkien's work for the fantasy novels. He did.
I mean, fantasy only has certain aspects. Like,
sure,
you can only have so much magic, and I mean, if you take it that way, then like Harry Potter's a ripoff. You know what I'm saying? But, there's only so much magic and animals and monsters that you can have.
All right, here's how we. This is how we've been wanting to start closing shows, though. Okay. So I'm just going to ask. It's going to go between you and Booba.
All right.
These are just fun questions. First answer that pops in your mind is what you're going to say. Okay.
Love it.
And they're quick answers. So I'm going to start with you. Then we're going to go to Booba. We're going to go through a handful of these. You ready?
Okay.
Let it rip.
What would you name a boat if you had one?
I'll go with my rap name. It's NC Hammer, so it'd be the NC Hammer.
That's great. Booba, what's the closest thing to real magic?
Science.
Oh, wow.
So deep, man.
Yeah. That was crazy. Neal, who is the messiest person that you know?
Oh, it's me, man. I'm terrible. Terrible.
Booba, what will finally break the internet?
Kanye West Donda album.
Boom. Neal, what is the most useless talent you have?
Useless talent. Man, I swear I can pop my eardrums just sitting here. I think I can make them pop. People don't believe me. I promise you.
That doesn't sound good.
I can flex my eardrums.
Booba, what celebrity would you rate as a perfect 10 out of 10?
Ryan Gosling.
Glad you asked him that. I wouldn't have answered that.
Neal Clayton, which fictional character would be the most boring person to meet in real life?
Ned Flanders. He's too positive, man. Like, I love Optimus, but
Oh my god.
Oakley, yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh. All right, and Booba will finish it up. What is the biggest screw up you've ever made in the kitchen?
Oh, I decided to cook peppers like in oil and turned it into pepper spray in the house, basically.
Were you just joking?
No, yeah, it was just everybody was dying, like the entire house. It was like everybody was choking. It was habaneros.
Oh,
And
man.
I was trying to like soften them up, and I didn't realize that cooking them really opens it up. And I basically made pepper spray.
Oh, man.
Oh my
awful.
gosh. Did you have fun?
Great time.
Awesome. You willing to come back?
Anytime. I'll just sit here and add chatter. I'm great. Like,
Oh man,
please
I
do.
forgot to hit the mic button again.
Let's do it
For
again.
real?
No.
Let's
Oh,
do it
thank
again.
the
I'll
Lord.
take a drink. I'm in.
No.
I'm a runner. I'm a marathon
We need to
runner.
Get like everybody that's been on all at the same time. So like 10 people.
Yeah.
You could.
Everybody's like, oh, you can come back again.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to do, and that's what I want to do, is start getting some round tables, get all these different, like, I think
you
Neal
seen-
would
have
be
you seen-
awesome with Robert.
Have you seen? Is it the Hollywood Reporter? One of those publications does roundtables with actors and directors and
Yep.
writers and comedians.
Yep.
Amazing. They're
It's
like
so
an hour
good.
long. They're
Sundance TV
amazing.
does it.
Huh?
Sundance TV.
Maybe
So
that's who it is.
so maybe what the model would be like, me,
Entrepreneurs.
you, or
Yeah.
not even that. It doesn't have to be entrepreneurs.
I mean, we could do one specifically.
Yes, of course, but like
That'd
him
be
and
fun.
Robert would be really good,
That's
and then
entrepreneurs.
not listening. And then I'm saying like
Mongols.
it would be good. Mongrel.
Mongrels. Okay.
But it would be awesome, like if Donovan, if we have me and Donovan, like just like me and Donovan as people that were in the acting side, and then talking to you about the directing side and the filmmaking side of something. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's good.
Or you could have a round table with whoever the guests are that all are fun to talk, and have a bowl of questions. And as you pass
Yeah.
around, you have to pull them and answer.
Neal,
Kind of like a fun thing.
this is
I'd
good.
really like to get into like super crazy conspiracy theory talks.
Oh, sure.
Like
That
Robert
would've been
was.
awesome.
Robert's like,
I
oh,
love,
you want to talk about Bigfoot or something?
I
I'm down."
love conspiracy
I do
theories.
too.
Okay, real quick, not getting
love
into it. What's your
conspiracy
favorite conspiracy theory? And then we're out of here.
Well, it's Bigfoot, but it's not a conspiracy theory because it's real. But it's Bigfoot. If you just said it, it's got to be.
Yeah.
I just love. I don't necessarily believe them, but I love.
What's
like,
your favorite one that you want to believe?
Tupac's alive.
Oh
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I just like
This will be deep.
everybody in modern day.
Real quick answer, Booba over here. 45 minutes later.
In
parallels of
modern day,
life and the-
anything you disagree with is now called a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, because it doesn't fit the narrative. Like, I hate that argument.
You know, so there's just too many. But I don't know. I want to believe that we have an alien at Area 51. Like,
Oh, well, that's not a conspiracy theory, dude.
Yeah.
We do have an alien at Area 51.
Elon
for
Musk,
sure.
he's an alien. I promise.
I think he's a lizard.
I mean,
y'all saw that.
That guy's
in the middle.
incredible.
Y'all saw that in the middle of pandemic. They released data that
Yeah.
pilots had seen unidentified flying objects.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Yeah, it's crazy. So there you have it, episode 8 of Let's Have Words with Neal Clayton. I
you,
appreciate it,
brother.
but we'll have you back for
Please.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you
Figuring out our podcast.
do
yeah,
what?
He just
Thanks for figuring out
figured
our
out our
podcast.
podcast.
It's like we just came up with other episode ideas just now.
absolutely.
We'll have to wait until we get a new space, a bigger space
Yeah.
to do the round table. But
Plug your business.
firemanmovingcompany.com. It's thefiremanmovingco.com. You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, website, all that fun stuff.
Yep. If you have any questions whatsoever, you need to buy or sell a house, contact me, and then I'll turn you over to Neal Clayton.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.